Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football and welcome back to another live Manchester United news and transfer news show on the channel. I tell you what, bombs have dropped in the last 2 hours. I mean, big news. Like the last 24 hours has been really quiet, and in the last 2 hours we got big stories on Gakpo and Joao Felix coming in from journalists with good sources. I want to dive into the Joao Felix news because that has literally come in the last hour, and then I want to get into the Gakpo news, which is coming in the last hour, but there was stories that had come in earlier today. And the just in from Duncan Castle says that United are considering Joao Felix as a replacement for Cristiano Ronaldo. And this isn't even the big part of the story. This is just the boring bit of the story. We're talking about an 8 million loan fee, and this whole article that I'm going to get into. Now, Duncan Castles is a hit-and-miss journalist. Sometimes he talks crap, sometimes he's on it. But Duncan Castles was the first journalist to tweet that Ronaldo would be leaving United and wanted to leave in the summer. He was correct on that. Duncan Castles has gone very quiet regarding to United news in the last year and a bit. And everything he said regarding United in the last year and a bit, Duncan Castles has been absolutely spot on correct with. He's really improving his credibility in terms of United. He's speaking less, but when he does speak, it's more factual. He's checking his sources. And we do know that Duncan Castles has very good links to George Mendes. I will tell you this now, and this is why it's important that it's come from Duncan Castles, who's a hit-and-miss journalist. When it comes to George Mendes clients, Cristiano Ronaldo, Joao Felix, Duncan Castles has very good links to George Mendes. He was the first on the whole Ronaldo stuff before Ornstein, before Romano. And this is why I want to quickly dive into this Joao Felix story. And then obviously I will get into the other story. So it was obviously said that United are considering Joao Felix as a replacement, la-di-la-di-la-di-la-di-la. But the report coming in is about an 8 million loan fee here from Duncan Castles. And I really want to dive into this. He says, Atletico Madrid are wanting a loan fee of 8 million, 100% in Joao Felix wages paid and no contractual buy to loan option, buy option after loan, sorry. This is big because this is a source that's got very good links to George Mendes. We know Atletico Madrid's owners have basically confirmed they want to get rid of Joao Felix. And this is Duncan Castles coming out and pretty much saying this is a really easy deal to do. Basically, if United want to land Joao Felix, who's an attacker, we basically have to pay all his wages and give Atletico Madrid 8 million. Now, I'm going to tell you something that's going to, will not blow your mind. The money we saved from getting rid of Ronaldo is more than it would cost to bring Joao Felix in for the rest of the season. Joao Felix wages plus 8 million loan fee is still less than it would cost to have Ronaldo at United at the end of the season. So the 18 million we've saved in getting rid of Ronaldo out of his contract, we could use 16 of that 18 million to get Joao Felix in and pay his wages and have 2 million spare. Now, we will get into Gakpo because we are pursuing Gakpo, and I do want to get into that. But I just want to take that. It's a very easy deal to do. And Joao Felix wants the Premier League, it's also been said. Man United and Arsenal. Here is the thing, right? As it stands, it's Man United and Arsenal for Joao Felix. Joao Felix would be open to move to both. Arsenal have an injury to Gabriel Jesus. This is 8 million loan fee. If it doesn't work out, we don't have to buy him at the end of the season. There's no option to buy him at the end of the season. This is a loan, 8 million, pay his wages. Then you've got Joao Felix to the end of the season. I think this is, considering the situation we're in, we needed a player when Ronaldo was here. So we definitely need a player now. Now we've lost Ronaldo. We can't actually buy an out-and-out striker because none available on the market unless we want to spend 200 million, which we don't have. I know Joao Felix is an out-and-out goal scorer, but he's someone that can play centre forward. He can play on the left. He can play in Bruno as well. He's one of the best academy players out there. If you're telling me bringing in Joao Felix will cost less than it would to have paid Ronaldo's wages to the rest of the season, in my opinion, it's an absolute no-brainer. And Duncan Castles, as I've said, when it comes to George Mendes, Duncan Castles is reliable. When it comes to George Mendes clients, Duncan Castles is reliable. And this is seeming to be the situation to bring in Joao Felix. And this makes it very possible because I want to link this to what Fabrizio Romano said on Joao Felix last week. Fabrizio Romano said surrounding Joao Felix last week that Manchester United could not afford the 100 million Atletico Madrid wanted for Joao Felix. But if a loan, a deal is possible. Romano said that United are aware of Joao Felix. They don't have the money for Joao Felix. They're interested in Joao Felix because we were interested in him last summer. But he said we won't be able to afford him unless it was a loan. Romano said if Joao Felix becomes available on loan, he would expect United to show some interest because United wanted him in the summer. Ten Hag wants Joao Felix. We expressed interest in him in the summer, but we were put off with the price tag. We then realised he became available in January. We focused on Gakpo, but Ten Hag's always wanted Joao Felix. And Romano said if it's a loan, Manchester United will very much be there, be in the running. Romano said, man, there's no way we're going to spend 100 million on Joao Felix in January, but if it's a loan, it's possible. And this is confirmation that it could be a loan, which would be very interesting. Atleti would be smart to loan him if he plays well elsewhere. They will get more money in the summer. Exactly. I think Atletico Madrid owner basically came out and confirmed that Joao Felix needs to leave. The owner of Atletico Madrid literally came out and was like, yeah, Joao Felix is going. They're desperate to get rid of him. They know they're not going to get anywhere near 100 million for him in January. And they think if he goes to United or he goes to Arsenal and he has a very good loan, in the summer, they might be able to get a bit of money for him. He wants to leave, and it's all about how much money they can get for him. And they know they won't get a lot in January. And they're very much like, let's just loan him out to the summer, hope he does well and cash in on him in the summer. I think that's Atletico Madrid's plan. And I think they're very much open to him going to United on loan. I think United and Arsenal is very good options because they're playing slightly attacking football. They've got good managers. I think this is what Atletico Madrid want. Guys, please do hit that like button if you haven't already. And of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new. If you do want to stay up to date with all the latest transfer news, updates and more, please do subscribe. Big stories coming in on Joao Felix and of course, Cody Gakpo as well. And I think that a loan option would be best now for Felix as well. And I think he's a risk because he hasn't been brilliant as well. You do make the point, no option to buy. If Joao Felix does very well, then it's just going to be a bidding war for him. But at the end of the day, is that the end of the world? We get a striker into the end of the season. If he does well, we might not get him because there'll be a bidding war, but we can actually get a long-term striker in. What United need is an out-and-out goal-scorer striker. That's not Joao Felix, but he's someone that could play striker and gets through to the end of the season like Gakpo. Is Gakpo what we need for the next 10 years? No. Is Felix what we need for the next 10 years? No. But they're two very good players available that can get us through the summer into top four, and then we can go and get what we need. The Vlahovic, the Osimhens, that out-and-out striker. Joao Felix is not an out-and-out striker. And, you know, for me, United should look at this and go, okay, we have Joao Felix in, 8 million, less than it costs to pay to keep Ronaldo here. He does well, might be a bidding war. We might not be able to buy him after, but Vlahovic will be available, but Osimhen will be available, but Ivan Toney might be available. And then United can bring in the striker that they actually want. I think that would be smart for me, even if you can't buy him after. We need to get to the end of the season. You've got to remember, our number one priority isn't, you know, there's no striker available in January that's going to be our long-term striker for the next 10 years because Gakpo's not a striker, and I don't think Felix is really a striker. But you've got to remember that all the strikers available are going to be 100 million, or they're just not available in January. And this window is all about bringing someone in that can take us from A to B in the summer, get us that top four, and then we get the long-term target. Now, I want to carry up on what was said by Duncan Castles as well. He said that United are now considering Joao Felix as a replacement. So now United know the situation regarding Joao Felix and the loan. Duncan Castles has said that Manchester United very much considering Joao Felix as a replacement. However, Arsenal are understood to be more advanced. So this is the thing you've got to pay attention to. It seems that Arsenal are slightly ahead of Manchester United in the race for Joao Felix. I think that injury to Gabriel Jesus and Arsenal being top of the league has made them want to pursue Joao Felix as well. And it was just said just in, Atletico Madrid are prepared to loan Joao Felix to the Premier League at FFP cost as Man United and Arsenal are interested. And Atletico Madrid very much desperate to get rid of Joao Felix as well. Now, I do want to get into the Cody Gakpo news. Big news surrounding Cody Gakpo. Man United opening talks with Gakpo. I think that United's priority is Gakpo. I think the reason Arsenal are leading the race for Joao Felix is because United are leading the race for Gakpo. It's come out today that United are steps ahead of Arsenal, Real Madrid and Liverpool in the race for Gakpo, and it seems that United are the favourites to get Gakpo. And I think the reason Arsenal are leading the Felix race is because United are very advanced and Manchester United are very much leading the Cody Gakpo race, people. We know that United have that kind of advantage for Cody Gakpo because of his relationship with Ten Hag, them sharing agents. We know that United have been interested in him for Gakpo since the summer. And again, more and more news reports pretty much confirming what we kind of already knew, that Manchester United do seem to be the side sort of leading the Cody Gakpo race, and hopefully we get Cody Gakpo. United really need to move for in a January. We need depth, 100%. This is why I think a January move will happen, because we need depth. So yeah, at least Gakpo's a scorer, Felix is a technical creator, but we need goals. Good point. I'm going to do a quick poll, people. Gakpo or Joao Felix is what I'm going to ask in the poll, because I'd be really intrigued to know your thoughts. Oh, stupid. Fuck off. I'd be interesting to know your thoughts, because we could get both. I mean, an ideal world, we get both, but United are in for both. I don't think we will get both. But my question is, would you rather, and I want you to answer the poll here, Gakpo or Felix? Now, this is the thing. Felix is a loan till the end of the season. He can play centre forward. He can play in Bruno's role. He's a creative player. He's dubbed to be one of the best players ever. Gakpo is on the best form ever. You know, you've got a player that's on the best form right now, or you've got a player that's dubbed to be a very good player. I would hence for Cody Gakpo over Felix, even though Felix is more of a centre forward, just because of Gakpo's form and just because of, I think Gakpo is clearly the one we're more advanced in. I think he's an out-and-out goal scorer. And as Alex B said, right now we need goals. Gakpo's got 30 goal contributions this season. You know, I know Joao Felix is out of form playing an Atletico Madrid side doesn't suit him, but Gakpo reminds me of Bruno and Rashford in a little sense. Of a lot of Man United fans don't like Bruno and Rashford because of the way they play. But when Bruno and Rashford are in form, they get goals and assists. Even if they play bad, when Bruno and Rashford are in form, they get goals and assists. And Cody Gakpo's like that. He's the type of guy that, you know, Netherlands weren't playing well, Netherlands weren't doing a lot, and Cody Gakpo will have one chance and score. And I think with the way United are at the moment, defensively disciplined, Casemiro bossing the midfield, it's about when we create chances scoring them, which is something we haven't been doing. And Cody Gakpo is one of those people that is clinical. And if we create chances for him, I think he will very much score as well. Can't believe we got Charlton. They must have got the wrong Manchester side. They must have put Man City in the draw for Charlton and accidentally pulled out United and been like, for fuck's sake, that was City's as well. For fuck's sake. But let me know in the chat as well. And it seems we almost never do loan moves anyway. So Arsenal, if you've just joined, Man United and Arsenal in talks to loan Joao Felix, 8 million loan fee agreed. But I think United are more advanced for Gakpo. Let's get into the Gakpo news. It was said breaking, Manchester United have opened talks with PSV Eindhoven about signing Cody Gakpo. United instigated their move during the week after learning that the looming financial problems at PSV mean they're prepared to cash in on him for less than 50 million. So Malik of the Mirror, and you hear the Mirror, but this guy is like, he's too good for the Mirror. This guy is very credible. This guy is very credible. Best writer for the Mirror. Tier 1 rated by Century Devils. And he's confirmed we've now opened talks with PSV. Now, that is new. We've opened talks with Gakpo. We've opened talks with Gakpo's agents, but we haven't heard before today that United have actually opened talks with PSV. He's confirming United are opening talks with PSV. So that is big. He said that PSV will have to sell for less than 50 million. We know that we've only got 40 million. Again, that is big. That means he's affordable. That means we've opened talks with PSV. And we already know from Fabrizio Romano that Gakpo would accept any deal from United. So this is very, very big news coming in from Malik of the Mirror. He said that Manchester United are ahead, remember that, of other interested clubs, and the terms of the players' contracts will not be an issue as Gakpo was happy with the offer he was given in August. Gakpo agreed personal terms to join Manchester United in August. Gakpo will accept Man United. Romano said that Gakpo will agree any deal to join United. It's about, can United agree something with PSV? United are now in talks to get this deal completed, agree something with PSV, and bish, bash, bosh, get Gakpo in is what the news is saying. And they're ahead of the other interested clubs. They are very much leading the race for Cody Gakpo. That is what else has been said with Gakpo. There's also the Joao Felix news, but I think United are very confident on what's happening with Gakpo. We know that Real Madrid, Arsenal, Newcastle are circulating Gakpo, but Manchester United have stolen a march by making contact with PSV. And that has been confirmed that we are the only club in contact with PSV over Gakpo. We know over the World Cup we had contact with Gakpo's agents. We know just after the World Cup we had contact with Gakpo. Fabrizio Romano confirmed that Gakpo would be willing to join United. Fabrizio Romano said that Gakpo would agree a deal to join United. It's about PSV. United now talks to PSV because they want to get this deal done. And if we scroll down to what Alex Crook said earlier today on the United Stand, he said that Manchester United are very keen to get Cody Gakpo deal done. He was told yesterday, which is Tuesday, that unless something drastic happens, this could be well signed and sealed very soon. So again, on the United Stand, yesterday wasn't Tuesday, but you know what I mean. Alex Crook, who's a good journalist at TalkSport, says that this deal could be signed very, very soon from what he's been told. And Alex Crook is a good journalist. He spoke about the Glazers looking to sell United a lot long before other people did. And Ben Jacobs, a tier 2 good journalist as well, said that Cody Gakpo to Manchester United next month is a real possibility. PSV want 50 million, but United are expected to make a lower offer. Therefore, the structure of the deal is important, aka give them the money quick. But lots of sources coming in about Gakpo to Manchester United, and that United very much leading the race. And we know that Gakpo would rather have a transfer now until wait till the summer. I think Gakpo on his end of the deal will be pushing for the move. But it was said that Erik Ten Hag feels Cody Gakpo's arrival will bolster his bid to finish in the top 4. Gakpo will bring the hunger and aggression to Manchester United. The manager felt that Cristiano Ronaldo could no longer deliver. And it's basically being said that Cody Gakpo is the dream Cristiano Ronaldo signing. I want to get into the other news because I've just scrolled through their Twitter page and I've got some other news written down, but I just thought I'd use Central Devils Twitter page because obviously they do the tier ratings next to it, so you can see that this is all coming from reliable sources that United are in for Gakpo. And as I've said, I'm going to summarise this news for everyone that's just joined now. So what's going on with Gakpo? What's going on with Felix? Basically, if you just joined the live stream, first of all, tell me, who would you rather get, Gakpo or Felix? United are leading the race for Gakpo. They've opened talks with PSV. Gakpo wants to come. A deal should be easy to do. PSV will have to sell for less than 50 million due to financial issues. United seem very confident they can get a deal for Cody Gakpo done. That seems to be the situation surrounding Cody Gakpo. The situation surrounding Joao Felix is it will be an 8 million loan fee for Joao Felix. Arsenal seem to be more advanced than Manchester United, but we'll see. As well, keep smashing the likes, and of course do subscribe down below if you're new, and share the video. People who think Gakpo is just a left wing need to play less FIFA and watch more football. Gakpo over Felix all day. Yeah, if you think Gakpo is just a left winger, he's not. He can play across the front three. He can do it all. He's very versatile. And top Einhorn journalist says PSV wants to cash up front due to inflation over the next few years. If Man United can give PSV pretty much that flat cash up front, they'll accept 40 million if it would all be up front. All that money we save on Ronaldo, if United can just give that to PSV, that 18 million will help us a lot as well. If the club can land both players, it would definitely help the attack. The club needs to make the moves happen. I mean, the ideal situation is that we sign both. And Cody Gakpo has been lethal this season for PSV, absolutely lethal. And Felix and Bruno in a 3-man midfield with Casemiro behind them. We could still get Gakpo for false 9 striker, or I think that Delo and Bruno would encourage Felix to pick us. I think we've got the better Portuguese links to Joao Felix, but I think Arsenal seem to be more interested in Joao Felix because of the Jesus injury. Even though we've lost our striker completely, Ronaldo, to the rest of the season, Arsenal still have more ambition and to go right into Joao Felix as well. And the only way Gakpo doesn't come is if our board are up to their usual antics, linking up with Ten Hag, and less competition into the 11 has to appeal to him. Exactly. This is a brilliant point. And this links to things that I've said in the past. The only way Cody Gakpo to Man United does not happen is if the board fuck it up. If the board fuck it up, because United are in pole position to sign Cody Gakpo as well. Pole position, as it was said. We know that Gakpo wants to join United from Romano. Fabrizio Romano confirmed Gakpo wants to join and will accept to join United. We know Gakpo has been speaking to Ten Hag regularly. We know United have had regular talks with Gakpo and he's confirmed to them he still wants to join United. We know Ruud van Nistelrooy said it, Gakpo said it, and all the top journalists said it. PSV have to sell financial issues, and PSV will accept a deal of around 40 million. United have 40 million. PSV will take 40 million. Gakpo wants United. United are leading the race. We appeal to Gakpo more than Real Madrid and Liverpool because of his relationship with Ten Hag, because Ten Hag wanted some summer and because he knows he's going to play. United have Gakpo in their hands. United, just like Sancho of 2 years ago, we have him in our hands. And if it doesn't happen, it's because the board do their usual antics. This is very much, if this doesn't happen, it's because the board are messing about. And we have Gakpo in our hands. I believe we'll get Gakpo, and the goal is, and Erik Ten Hag wants Gakpo completed by the 1st of January. He wants Gakpo completed so that he can play in a game on the 7th of January. There's no point bringing in a January signing and they can't play till February when you've got games in January. Ten Hag knows that Gakpo is coming in and he wants Gakpo to be ready to play on our game on the 4th of January. He doesn't want to have to be waiting a couple of weeks for Gakpo. He wants to go 4th of January, bish bash bosh, Gakpo can play. That's what Ten Hag wants to be doing. He wants to feel that Gakpo can play on a game on the 4th or 5th of January. And that is why United are working on the deal. And Ten Hag is pushing Manchester United. And we know this from ESPN and reliable sources. Ten Hag is pushing United to get this Gakpo deal done soon. And as Alex has just put in the chat, if United don't get Gakpo, it will be because of board incompetence. We are ahead of the other clubs. Gakpo has agreed and accepted that he would join Manchester United, and we're now in talks with PSV. Gakpo will come, bish, bash, bosh. As soon as we get a deal sorted with PSV, medical can happen, deals can be signed, and Gakpo can be completed. That's what needs to happen. Accept a deal with PSV, medical deals completed. PSV want to sell, PSV need to sell, PSV are being pushed to sell. They're not asking for unreasonable money. Ten Hag wants him, we've saved money on Ronaldo. United, this move is in your hands. This is an informed player at a fantastic World Cup that is available at cut price, and Ten Hag's wanted him since summer. Ten Hag wanted him in summer, but we couldn't get him for the price of Anthony. This is up to you, the Manchester United board, not to mess this up. This is up to you, the Manchester United board, to deliver. And also, once you get Gakpo, go and get Joao Felix on top of Gakpo, because Joao Felix is only going to cost us £8 million as well. Are Wolves signing Isco? I haven't heard about that. Anyone just comment about Wolves Isco if you know anything. I know they signed Matthias Cunha. If Gakpo comes, he'll be used as a striker, which means he'll be played out of position. I would go for Felix and Tony. Felix being that number 10 playmaker type who can create chances for Tony. I agree that Gakpo will be played slightly out of position, but I think Gakpo will be played across the left, right, and centre forward, and be filled in at centre forward if Martial's injured. Gakpo can play centre forward, trust me. And Gakpo was great last year too. Definitely one to get 12 goals and 13 assists in the league last year as a winger. Rudi's made him more of a striker this season. Exactly. This season, Gakpo's playing more as a striker than a winger. And last season, he played as a winger. He had better stats than Anthony last season. Not that stats are everything, but he's been very good as well. PSV want 50 million, so our starting will be 70. Man United are reportedly making a £40 million bid for Gakpo to get the deal done. And I am confident we will get Gakpo. The reason I'm not super confident we'll get Gakpo is because I know we've got our board. I know how incompetent the Manchester United board are as well. But I'm confident we can get the Gakpo deal done because we're winning the race. Gakpo wants to come. Gakpo agreed personal terms with United. Ten Hag wants Gakpo. It's a good price. It's just up to the board. I don't think we have 40 million up front. Our cash reserves are down lately, which is the only thing that makes me worry. As Alex B has said, is do we have that money up front? And that is the only thing. And United still have 100 million left on credit card, probably somewhere as well. And we have players that can link the play and create right now. We need goals. Felix is a better footballer, but Gakpo is what we need. Again, I agree. I think Gakpo will be better than Felix because Gakpo gets goals. And SM said, I throw Pellistri in the deal too. He wants to leave. You know what? That's a smart thing. I like Pellistri, but could we use Pellistri to lower the fee of Gakpo? And then they've got a young up-and-coming winger that played at the World Cup. With Pellistri, you can say this guy played at the World Cup. Young up-and-coming winger. That means that you sell Gakpo, but at least you've got someone on the bench to potentially replace him. I would be looking at pulling in Pellistri on that deal, or even a Langer on loan or something, and just seeing if we can get a reaction from PSV. Keep voting in the poll. What are the poll results like at the moment for the Gakpo Felix? If you've just joined, I do want to quickly cover the Felix news for those that just joined. Quickly get ahead in the Felix news here as well, that Manchester United are also considering Joao Felix as a replacement for Ronaldo. However, Arsenal are understood to be leading the race. Arsenal leading the race for Joao Felix, United leading the race for Gakpo. But it was said that Atletico Madrid are wanting a loan fee of 8 million for Joao, and Joao Felix's wages paid. So again, very doable deal to get Joao Felix in as well. Guys, keep smashing the like button. And of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new. If you do want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news and more, do subscribe. We've got a big transfer news video coming tomorrow morning. We've got a live stream, Christmas Eve, Christmas special live stream tomorrow. And then obviously we've got a little bit of news on Christmas Day. Erik Ten Hag's releasing an interview Christmas Day. So I don't know if you watched my video yesterday. So obviously, yes. So basically, you know how Ronaldo did an interview about Man United with Piers Morgan? Erik Ten Hag's doing an interview with Dutch media outlet about, Manchester United, the job, the things he'd had to deal with, the mentality, the dressing room issues. Erik Ten Hag is kind of doing his big Manchester United interview that's going to be released on Christmas Day. So that will be out on Christmas Day. And then Boxing Day, we'll be doing a preview to United, Nottingham Forest, the lineup as Manchester United's first Premier League game is back. So lots coming up on the channel as well. So do make sure you're subscribed if you don't want to miss out on any news. I think I do want to talk quickly about Jadon Sancho. Ten Hag said that he won't be back for the Nottingham Forest game, and I think Jadon Sancho will be out for a while. I think that Ten Hag wants to make sure he's in the right mindset and give him that kind of Rashford-like recovery. And it was said by Fabrizio Romano that Erik Ten Hag is pushing hard for Marcus Rashford to stay as a big part of his future project. New meetings will take place to offer him a long-term contract. Ten Hag loves Rashford and wants him to stay at all costs. We know that PSG really want Rashford. We know that PSG are desperate for Rashford. And, you know, they could offer him something massive. That's what PSG want, especially if they lose Mbappe. PSG's number one replacement for Mbappe would be Rashford. So this is obviously where United have got to be really, really careful. You know, we've got to offer Rashford a new contract, nothing crazy. But there is a chance that Rashford could leave United. Now, I hope Rashford doesn't leave. He's just been in good form. I don't think Rashford will leave because I think he loves Manchester United. But again, it's a very risky one because there is PSG and they're very interested in Marcus Rashford as well. Very interested as well. Keep smashing the likes, people, and of course, subscribe down below if you're new. I was trying to find an article on OneFootball, but I can't find it. And it was a really good article about Rashford's future in PSG. And I might just do a video on that tomorrow because I can't find what I want to find as well. But I want to quickly get into what Erik Ten Hag said on Cody Gakpo. But I can't find what I was looking for, which is annoying. So basically, Erik Ten Hag was asked about Cody Gakpo, and they said there's many good players in the World Cup. But when Erik Ten Hag was asked about Cody Gakpo, he had a big smile on his face. Ten Hag was literally asked about the Gakpo transfer. He didn't say anything, but you know when there's a look on someone's face where it's like that guilty look. Erik Ten Hag very much gave away that look where he feels that he's going to get Gakpo. The way Erik Ten Hag kind of looked when he was asked about Gakpo said to me that, you know, he felt that he was going to get Gakpo. When he was asked about him, he said there were many good players in the World Cup. He didn't give anything away. He can't give anything away. He refuses to talk about players that are not at Manchester United. But by Erik Ten Hag's face, it was a very strong indication surrounding Gakpo. We have players that can link up play. I read out that one, didn't I? I did read out that one as well. I hope we sell Fred. Fred has also been linked to PSG, weirdly enough. So, obviously, PSG want Rashford, but PSG do reportedly want Fred. And I think we could get like 20 million for Fred in summer. I generally do. I think Fred's not that bad of a player. I think he's a player that needs to go, but I think he's a player that we can get money for. So Fred is linked to PSG, actually, guys, which is pretty mad as well. Continuing on with the Cody Gakpo news as well. We were told that Cody Gakpo is very much a real possibility. We know that the deal is very likely to happen. But it was also said that PSV want 50 million euros for Cody Gakpo. It's not so much about the bid, but it's about how it's paid. But Ten Hag did very much give off some slight Cody Gakpo hints. I can't find the video of it, but if you'd have seen Ten Hag's face, it was very much, I say, a guilty look. I would say a guilty look as well. I've got a few other stories. So Man United were also linked to Goncalo Ramos, but this is something that I don't think would happen till summer. I think while Ten Hag likes Goncalo Ramos, it's very obvious that Gakpo is the deal that we're working on. Gakpo is the deal that is likely to happen, and Gakpo is the deal that United are pursuing. I think if we don't get Gakpo, it will be Joao Felix. I don't think we have the money. Osimhen is a different gravy. Sign him at all costs. I mean, guys, tell me your dream summer signing because Osimhen's up there. Osimhen, Frankie de Jong, Enzo Fernandez, they're all brilliant. Vlahovic would be brilliant as well. I do want to talk about some news on new owners. Manchester United secretly in talks over new owners and all of that, actually. Really interesting story about new ownership of Manchester United that's come out as well. And there are reports that PSG are quite close to getting Rashford as well. But hopefully we don't. Ollie did the same look when he was asked about Haaland. That's the thing. Ollie thought he was going to get Haaland. The board let him down. Gakpo is Haaland all over again. Because when we were linked to Erling Haaland, United were in pole position to sign Erling Haaland because of Ollie, because of Ollie's relationship with Erling Haaland. We were in pole position to sign a player, and the board messed it up because of Mino Raiola and some other stuff. And Gakpo is very much the same situation as Haaland. United are in a good position to sign Gakpo. It's looking good for United. It's about can the board get it done. And I think if we don't get Gakpo, it will just be a Haaland 2.0 situation, in my opinion. I think it will be a Haaland 2.0 situation. Because we're kind of in that situation where we're very clear when it was for Gakpo, good relationship with the manager. We've been in talks for Gakpo the longest. Bish, bash, bosh, Dortmund swooping. That's what happened with Haaland because the board were taking too long and the board didn't want to do all these Dortmund demands. So the board took their time and got bloody Igalo instead, and we lost out on Haaland. You know, I just think, you know, was it like I know that Mino Raiola was difficult, but it's Erling Haaland and we needed a player like that. And I think United will massively regret missing out on Erling Haaland. And I think if we missed out on Gakpo, we'd massively regret it. I think one of the things about Cody Gakpo is I know if we don't get him, that United are going to be kicking themselves. I just know that they will be. Alice, can you ride a horse? I've ridden a horse before, but not for years. My boy Palestri should at least get a debut if they're going to sell him. Oh, 100%. I feel bad for Palestri. I don't know how Alanga's coming on over him. I think Alanga's a good, hard-working lad, but we know that Alanga's not the level. So why don't we give Palestri a run in as a sub and not Alanga? Because for me, Alanga's just not been good enough as well. We need to have players like Man City. Man City would get a player like Gakpo, and I think United should as well. Bruno Guimaraes would be a good signing as well. And our board rarely signs a player with a release clause knowing they will lose him soon. That's what ruined the Haaland deal. Yeah, exactly. I think the problem with Haaland was there were clauses and stuff he wanted in his contract. And we need the player ASAP. Imagine if Rashford and Martial get long-term injury. Yeah, 100%. We need to get another attacker in, because one of the things I've said before, and one of the things I will say again, is United are, again, I will say this, United are injuries away from being screwed. United are 100% a few injuries away from being screwed. Because realistically, you look at the situation we're in, you go, okay, we have Antony that can play on the right, Martial that can play up top, and Rashford that can play on the left. We've got Garnacho that can play on the left and Sancho that can play on the right, but Sancho is absent. One injury, let's say Rashford gets injured. We're down to Antony on the right, Garnacho on the left, and Martial as a striker. That's fine. But then if we need to make a sub in the game, who comes on? Alanga. If you have an injury, again, if two players get injured, who starts? Alanga. And if Alanga starts, who's on the bench? And if Alanga's shit, Palestri. Yeah, but if Alanga's really shit and Palestri leaves, who else is on the bench? Fuck, I don't know. Who are we going to give a run in now? Very thin in the tap. Very thin in the tap. We don't know when Sancho's back. We don't know what Sancho will be like when he's back. He might be bad. Antony has injury issues. Martial is injured every week, I swear. And Rashford's had injury issues. Again, another reason why we need an attacker. United need an attacker no matter what. Even if it's not Gakpo, even if it's not Felix, United cannot not sign another attacker in January. But the good thing about Gakpo is, even though he's not an out-and-out striker, he can play across the front three. He can fill in for Martial. He can fill in for Rashford. And if worse comes to worse, he could even fill in for Antony. He could even fill in deeper for Bruno. He is one of those players. I'm not saying that Gakpo's like Thierry Henry, but if I was to compare him to someone that he could become, it's more the sense that he can play left wing, he can play striker, he can create as well as score, he gets assists as well as goals. He's someone that gets the numbers, that can play multiple positions, and he's definitely a player we need. I think some of Vlahovic would be good and Gakpo's better on the wing. But also I look at Gakpo and I go, Ronaldo started on the wing, Henry started on the wing. Same with Gakpo, he's 6'2". Gakpo has the physical capabilities to be moulded into a striker as well. And I do think that we will get Gakpo. And I think if we don't get Gakpo, it will just be a literal disgrace by the board because he's available and begging for the move as well. Man United are considering Joao Felix as a replacement for Ronaldo, but Arsenal seem most advanced, as we spoke about earlier. I think Joao Felix is more likely to go to Arsenal. I think for me, I'd like us to get Felix and Gakpo, but you just can't trust United. United will play Southgate football, hopefully not under Ten Hag. And guys, 91 likes to 200 likes. Let's see, we've got over 400 people watching, so let's see if we can hit 200 likes by the end of the live stream. So please do hit that like button as well. And Palestri and Ahmed will sign to simply try and flip them for profit, says SM. I think they partly were, but I think it's going to be hard to get profit on Ahmad just because he did cost quite a bit of money. I think Palestri we could get 10 million profit for because he's played in the World Cup as well. But we should have given Palestri a go. I think we signed Palestri and Ahmad because we didn't sign Sancho and we wanted to shut up some fans, the Glazers. And Alice, who says Gakpo won't be a long-term striker? It could be. You never know. Gakpo could come to United. He could be brilliant as a striker and might not need one in the summer. I think that he can play striker, but I still think his best position is left wing. But you never know as well. And every forward who uses his pace more than anything else will be injury prone and will be long term. And that is the problem with the United attack. They're very reliant on pace and they do get injured a lot as well. We do need a striker. Alanga's overrated. I think Alanga needs a loan. And Amad Diallo has been absolutely fantastic at Sunderland lately. And Hannibal Meshby's been looking very good at Birmingham. We've got some loan players looking good as well. And we're in the paper everywhere. Casemiro, Lisandro, Varane. Go down, we're in trouble. This is a really good comment here. Depth-wise, United aren't good. An injury happens to Lisandro, fucked. That's Maguire in. An injury happens to Casemiro, that's McTominay in. Just remember that. We can't get Lisandro injured. If an injury happens to Bruno Fernandes, we've got Donny ghosting as a 10. If an injury happens to Casemiro, it's McTominay. And if an injury happens to Varane or Lisandro, it's Maguire. Whereas if an injury happens to Laporte, they've got a Kanji. They've got Stones at Man City. You know, if an injury happens to, I don't know, Haaland, they've got Alvarez at Man City. If an injury happens to De Bruyne, they've got Foden and Bernardo Silva at Man City. You know, look at that. Look at what they've got. An injury happens to Bruno, it's Donny. An injury happens to Casemiro, it's McTominay. An injury happens to one of our centre-backs, it's Maguire. Not just an attack, but United need depth all across. But the one thing our attack has over the others is our attack is injury-prone. You know, Martinez isn't injury-prone. Casemiro isn't injury-prone. Bruno never gets injured. Dalot, who's injured now, but doesn't seem to get too injured. We are injury-prone in attack. And as someone said, we are very reliant on pace in attack, which can cause injuries 100%. Our wingers can't cross. Tall Poacher is going to be starved for chances. I do think we need to improve crossing, but I think Luke Shaw has a good cross on him. I think Dalot's improving at crossing, but I think that's something we can improve upon. And maybe with someone with good positioning and a good head, that helps as well. Martial's bound to get injured. I can't rely on him to stay fit. Every time Martial goes down in a match, I'm expecting that he's going to announce that he's injured as well. Man United announced that Gakpo's agreed to join Man United on Jan 1st, 2023. Hopefully they announce that, but I don't think, with Gakpo, I think it will be done after Christmas. I think this time next week, December 30th, December 29th, December 31st, January 1st is going to be very hot in the news for Gakpo as well. And Gakpo is a done deal. Felix might come handy. I think Gakpo is very much in our hand, but I think Felix will have to see as well. Eriksen could play 10, should play 10. If we had a better 8. Yeah, 100%. The one thing that's frustrated me is when we played Donny and Eriksen, when we didn't have Bruno, I wanted to see Donny in the 8 role and Eriksen in the 10 role. I think Donny's always played deeper for United, and we know that Eriksen obviously played in the 10 role a lot in the Premier League and has been very good in the 10 role in the Premier League. And that was the one thing that I would have done. I would have liked to see Eriksen in the 10 role. As well. And the squad is far from finished. January needs to bring in a couple of players to move along our depth. Each chance to win needs to accomplish that goal. We've got no depth, and that is something we do need to be worried about. I think one more Cam in there could be useful. But as said, that Eriksen could play Cam if worse comes to worse. I do want to get into some stories on potential new ownership at Manchester United. There's sort of reports going on, and I think this is really interesting about United already kind of having secret new owner talks. We know that, you know, certain parties in talks with United have had to sign non-disclosure agreements, but United are making a lot of decisions behind the scenes, which would suggest that they know that they're going to get new owners in and maybe know who the new owners are going to be. And I do want to get into that story very, very soon as well. And Man United it's also been said that United are confident they're going to agree a deal with Garnacho for him to stay at Manchester United as well, which I will dive into in a second. But the news coming out on new owners, I'm going to get it up on the screen actually, here, is that Man United are already making decisions about what they're going to do next season with sporting directors and stuff. You know, getting rid of John Murta, getting rid of Arnold, replacing them. United are already doing little things behind the scenes, which would suggest to me that they maybe have an idea of who the next owner is coming in. And we know that United have been very quiet on the new owner front. They're not giving anything away. A lot of involved parties had to sign non-disclosure agreements, but we know there's been talks with Dubai. We know they went to Qatar to talk to Middle Eastern owners. It wasn't about watching the World Cup. It was talks going on. We know they've had talks with American businessmen, but United have been very private on who the talks are ongoing. But we know that Rain believe and hope and that they can get the full sale done before March of 2023. It was said that United full sale is likely to be done by spring, and it was said that United after Christmas will continue pursuing talks to get new owners in. Nothing will happen before Christmas, but after Christmas, United will be heavily in new owner talks. You know, there's a lot of indication that United have actually been talking to one party multiple times. And news reports come out basically saying that there's a party that United have been talking to multiple times, that's unnamed, that are United preparing for them to be the next owner of Manchester United. Do United have an idea of who it's going to be? I know we don't have a clear favourite yet. I know we don't have someone that's ultimately leading the race. But by the way United are acting, they're acting as if they're confident the club's going to be sold. And the other things are coming in like new director. We've just appointed a new director today. Why would we be appointing a new director? You know, to help with the sale. Why is Fabrizio Romano confident that Arnold and Murta won't be at United much longer? Is there something going on that they haven't told us on the new owner front? And I want to quickly get up this news option. This news article on my screen, if I can find it, by James Ducker. And I wasn't 100% sure what he meant, but I spoke to someone to try and get some context on what he meant. And that's what I'm going to do now. But it said, Man United Chief Legal Officer and General Counsel Patrick Stewart has been appointed to the club's PLC board of directors, comes at a time when the Glazers are looking to sell. So basically, we're getting, board of directors are getting some kind of legal officer in, and it seems that United are very much preparing the sale. And, people say in this report are suggesting that United are very much advancing in their idea of a sale of the club as well. So I think that was quite an interesting story. I think that's one to keep an eye on as well. But it was very much said that United looking at new owners, and there's a suggestion that United have 2 or 3 owners that are probably just leading the race. There's probably Dubai or someone in the Middle East, someone American, and some investors that have all had quite strong talks with the Glazers. And there's a lot of reports that the Glazers have already probably had talks with people and probably already know who the next owner is going to be. It's all speculation. It's all rumours. It's all like kind of things going off Twitter and journalists. But they believe for multiple reasons that the Glazers probably already know who's likely to be the next owner of United, and that talks are ongoing, but everyone's signing a non-disclosure agreement as they don't want anything released until it's nearly done. They don't want any legal issues. They don't want it causing any problems. Is some stories going on as well. Guys, keep smashing the like button and do subscribe down below if you're new as well. Rashford's not going to leave. He loves the club and is on track to break records here. Hopefully Rashford doesn't leave, but he is getting a good offer from PSV as well. And with new owners, all of the board are gone, and I'd assume the recruiting structure is having a little change. Yeah, I want to talk about what Fabrizio Romano said about the new owners and the new board. Fabrizio Romano also came out and spoke about the situation of Manchester United getting new owners, spoke about the situation of Manchester United getting a new board. And Romano said that from what he's hearing, this is what Fabrizio Romano said, and he said this he said this a couple of weeks ago, so this isn't new news, but I do want to get into what he spoke about recently as well. Fabrizio Romano said when he went on the United stand not long after the sale of Manchester United was announced, he said that if Manchester United get new owners, I'd expect John Murtough and Richard Arnold to go and there to be a new board. Romano basically said new owners means a new board at Manchester United. That's the first thing he said. Romano also said from what he was hearing, I'm pretty sure I can try and find the exact quote. I'll do a video, I can find the exact quotes, but he said something along the lines that the full sale seems more likely. Romano and Simon Stone, who are very, very good journalists with very good sources of information, again suggested that from what they're hearing, because obviously the Glazers did say full sale or potential investors, where the Glazers would say and have power. The Fabrizio Romanos and the journalists of the world are basically saying from what they're hearing, the full sale is more likely than investors coming in, and the full sale would mean that would be the end of Richard Arnold. That would be the end of John Murtough. I mean, Richard Arnold and John Murtough, I've always said this, it should have been the end of Richard Arnold and John Murtough a long time ago. It really should have been the end of Richard Arnold and John Murtough in the bloody summer when they went to Barcelona to get Frankie de Jong and came back with about 10 beers and a few lines of Coke instead that they had done. They didn't get Frankie de Jong. They didn't actually come back with beers or lines of Coke in them, just to clarify, because someone might believe me there and not realise I was joking. But Richard Arnold and John Murtough shouldn't even be at United. So I don't think it's news that Romano's saying the next owner of United will get rid of them, because they shouldn't be at United. You've got to think the Frankie de Jong situation was absolutely embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing, that Frankie de Jong situation. Didn't get him. We could have got Anthony in May for 40 million. They fucked about so much on Frankie de Jong that they had to spend twice the amount of money on Anthony. If they'd got Martinez and Anthony when Ten Hag first wanted them, they'd have got those 2 players for £50 million less. The board absolutely embarrassed themselves, cost the Glazers more money, and if I was the Glazers, I would have sacked them. But the Glazers have got no backbone, and they don't care because the board are their little muppets. 133 likes, so do smash that like button, people, as well, and make sure you vote on the poll if you want to Gakpo or Felix. I want to actually have a quick look at the poll results here. I mean, my ideal situation is both Gakpo and Felix. As I've said with Joao Felix, the Joao Felix move is cheaper than it would be to have Ronaldo. The Joao Felix one is cheap. There is a small part of me, I think Arsenal winning the race for Joao Felix, but because Joao Felix, 73% of you said Gakpo, 27% have said Felix. I would agree with that. But because Joao Felix is such a cheap and easy deal to do, it's such an affordable move for United to do. There is a small part of me that thinks, will United go for Joao Felix because it's an 8 million loan to the end of the season? It's going to, all the money we've saved and not paying Ronaldo's wages would cover the Joao Felix wages and loan fee. There is a small part of me that thinks, could United go for Joao Felix because it's so cheap? They wouldn't have to spend a lot of money. If Gakpo goes wrong, they get Joao Felix. I wouldn't be shocked if United did go all out for Joao Felix, because obviously it's affordable, and we know United like to spend money as well. Man United did draw Charlton in the Carabao Cup. As Steve said, it's a good draw. We're always at home. That I think we're guaranteed semi-final. For me, I never gave a fuck about the Carabao Cup. If I was going to get knocked out of cup competition, it's the Carabao Cup. In my 22 years of existence, I've never given a crap about the Carabao Cup. Unless we make it to the final, then I'm like, well, I want to win then. But we haven't won a trophy in 6 years. I want to win the Carabao Cup. Even though it's the most useless trophy to win, I want to win it because I want these players to have won a trophy at United. I want them to almost get that mentality in them. I think a trophy is, even if it's the Carabao Cup, it shows that they can win in a final. It shows that they can deal with that pressure, and it shows that they've won something. And then I think that can push us forward in the race for top four. We don't want to become in the Spurs. We don't want to be becoming bottlers. I would very much like Manchester United to win the Carabao Cup. It's a competition I've never cared about before, but Charlton, easy win, semi-final. She says that we're probably going to lose now. And then we'll probably have Wolves or Newcastle or Southampton or Man City or someone difficult in the semi. And then I think it will be Man City in the final, but it's a one-off game. It's a final. I think that it would be a very good trophy to win the Carabao Cup. I think that, it's Man United and City, the two best teams left in it. I think, for me, this is our trophy to win. And I do hope we win a trophy. And I think we win very much confirmed semi-final the way things are standing as well. So, yeah. Keep smashing the likes, people. And, of course, subscribe down below if you're new. It's still a trophy, but would be nice to get one, says SM. Exactly. Absolutely. And need a trophy. If this season doesn't, it will be 6 years. It's unacceptable for United. Yeah, I mean, top four, top four, I think we need more than anything to progress the rebuild and get the players in. But my dream situation is a trophy in top four this season. I don't care what the trophy is. Europa League would be my ideal trophy to win, but I would like an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup as well. Ideally Europa, if not FA Cup, if not Carabao Cup. Ideally, all three and top four would be brilliant. Well, actually, top four wouldn't matter if we won the Europa League because we'd be in the Champions League. But look, I'll be honest. If we got Europa League and we got the Carabao Cup, I'd be very happy. I would be, because I generally predicted this season, at the start of the season, I was very, very negative. I've always been positive about appointing Ten Hag. I've always wanted Ten Hag. I've always believed that Ten Hag's the right manager for Manchester United. But my mindset has always kind of been, we're going to finish seventh and win nothing this season because the players aren't good enough and it's too early in the rebuild and we've got to give Ten Hag time. Ten Hag has been better than I thought. The fact that even after the fixtures we've had, the poor start to the season and United having the hardest fixture list, that we're very much on track for top four and still in cup competitions, fills me with even more confidence in Ten Hag. So this is why we need new owners. This is 100% why we need new owners, because Man United have got their... and people might laugh, but I generally believe it. We've got our pop, we've got our Pep, we've got our Klopp. For me, if Ten Hag had gone to Man City and got the backing Pep would, Ten Hag would be successful like Pep. We've seen what he's done at Ajax. I think we've got our Pep, we've got our Klopp, we've got our modern manager, we've got a manager that's won stuff, we've got a manager that I think if Pep had left Man City would have gone for Ten Hag. We've got our good manager, we've got our good manager doing good things, buying players who play for him, improving players, coaching players, something we hadn't seen at United since Van Gaal. Mourinho was a good player and Mourinho won things, but I never saw particular player progress in terms of coaching under Mourinho. Ollie, didn't progress anyone. Van Gaal did. And Pep, sorry, not Pep. Ten Hag reminds me a little bit of that. I think we've got our manager, we've got our guy in Ten Hag, and he's got a plan, and it's about backing him. And this is why we need new owners more than ever. Because I think if we get new rich owners in and they give Ten Hag what Man City give him Pep, I believe we can be up there with Man City again. New owners means the end of the board. New owners means the end of Arnold. Means the end of Murta. This is, this is the end of a lot of negative things at Manchester United. And new owners is the start. Ten Hag getting a lot of money, a lot of backing, and he's already a manager that's doing very well with what he's had so far at United. You can't deny that Ten Hag is doing a very good job. He's not had loads. He has had a lot of money, but this is his first season. And one thing that Ten Hag did that stands out anything is he changed the mindset. And I've said this 1,000 times, but he changed the mindset. He changed the dressing room, changed the mentality of those players. These players used to whinge, they used to moan. Every time we used to lose a game, they would fall out, fight, leak things. They didn't play for the badge. 17, there was a report that came out in March time that 17 players wanted to leave United. Rashford was one of them. He was incredibly unhappy. And now Rashford's back playing his best. Thank you, Tumbleweed, for the super chat. He said Erik Ten Hag just needs backing to get the players he wants. 100%. All Erik Ten Hag needs is the backing to get the players he wants. Because Rashford, who was unhappy, is now happy. You know, Sancho, that's a Rashford situation. Sancho is unhappy. Sancho has not been at his best for a while. There is a situation going on with Jadon Sancho. But Erik Ten Hag's being patient with Jadon Sancho, being very gentle, being very kind. And, you know, I think that's what brought Rashford back. A manager that believed in him, a manager that made him confident, a manager that's giving him his time to recover, a manager that's very much being respectful of him. I think that's the same with Sancho. I think Sancho is a confidence issue. I think Sancho needs to get back to his best mentally and physically. So when he plays, he's in the zone. But we saw Sancho have a good preseason, people. Sancho was quite good in those games in preseason. And I think Ten Hag saw Sancho in preseason, also knows who Sancho is because of his time in the Bundesliga, and probably thinks that Jadon Sancho is a very capable player, just like Rashford. Jadon Sancho at his best, and we haven't seen it much at United, but we've seen it in the Bundesliga. It was an unbelievable player. He was up in that sort of Haaland debate. There was a point where it was, you know, Sancho and Mbappe Haaland. He was almost in that bit. He was that good at such a young age. He's come to United, he's died out. Marcus Rashford, when he's on it, is so good, scored a brilliant solo goal. And I think, you know, if Ten Hag can get Sancho back to his best, Ten Hag can get, you know, I think he's capable of doing that. I think Ten Hag's capable of getting players back in form. I think Ten Hag's capable of improving players, which we need. But also the players Ten Hag's brought in, Martinez, fantastic. Eriksen, brilliant. Casemiro, brilliant. Malacia, Anthony, look good. Very much give Ten Hag the money because I think he can bring in the right players. He's got a clear vision. He's changed the mindset. The mindset's completely different and he's improving players. And I think all we need is new ownership and new board for Erik Ten Hag to take Manchester United to that next level because I'm Erik Ten Hag's biggest fan. I think he's an elite man. And although Gakpo, for me, isn't the out-and-out striker, and sometimes Gakpo's too similar to Rashford, I sit there and go, if Ten Hag wants Gakpo and wanted him since summer, and Ten Hag's the manager and all our signings have been good, let's go for Gakpo as well. Felix seems to be going to Arsenal, it seems, as well. And Gakpo has the most goals and assists in Europe this season. Felix is lost at his feet. Yeah, and the thing is, going back to Gakpo gets goals and assists. What does Erik Ten Hag massively improve the defence? You know, Varane, Dalot, Shaw, Martinez looking very good in defence, keeping a lot of clean sheets. Midfield's gaining more control with Casemiro, a bit more stability. Where we've dropped points recently is we've not taken our chances. We've had like 50 shots and we scored one goal and we're missing sitters. This is where United seem to be struggling. We've not been taking our chances recently in games. Gakpo comes in. If you look at Gakpo's stats, 30 goal contributions this season, scored goals in the World Cup for the Netherlands, scores goals. He's a goal scorer. Gakpo comes in, he gets goals and assists. Defensively, we've improved. We need a goal scorer. Rashford can get goals. Martial can get goals when in form, but he's always injured. But Ronaldo being 37, he didn't have that explosiveness anymore. We need someone that can score those goals. And I think although Gakpo's not an out-and-out striker, he can get goals. And I think that is what the United side needs, goals massively as well. Keep smashing the likes, people, and of course, do subscribe down below if you're new. Sancho, often a slow starter. Last couple of seasons at Dortmund, he tended to level up after his holidays. Yes, Sancho's often been a slow starter. And what's the main position you want to see improve, says Big T. Thank you for the super chat. Right now, it has to be a striker because we've only got Martial. Now Ronaldo's left, and you know we know Martial can't stay fit. After striker, for me, it's a midfielder. It's that Eriksen role. I love Christian Eriksen, but he's playing slightly out of position. For me, we need Frankie de Jong or Enzo Fernandez. I think Belling would be all right, but I think he's a bit more advanced. But honestly, for me, it's a striker and it's a player that can progress the ball quite well and play next to Casemiro. And for me, it's Frankie de Jong. I'll be honest. I think, and Ten Hag's right. Frankie de Jong is what we need. We need a top striker, Osimhen, I think, or a top striker is what we need long term. And then I think after that, it 100% is that Eriksen role, that midfielder, that Enzo Fernandez, Frankie de Jong type midfielder. For me, it's striker then midfielder without doubt. And then we can look at maybe a backup centre back, maybe a backup right back, maybe a backup for Bruno, maybe a goalkeeper. But I think there's two positions that stand out, striker and midfielder. And I think striker has to be the priority because of the lack that we have. I think Rashford's improving his capabilities as a striker. You can tell that Rashford's being coached properly. You can tell that Rashford, you know, positionally and with his back to goal was massively improved when he's playing as a striker. And you've got to give Ten Hag and probably Benny, who's been working with Rashford, credit for that. But Rashford's not an out-and-out striker, but he can do a job there, but he's better on the wing. Cody Gakpo, I think, is a player that's been very much coached and been able to play as a striker. I think he will be able to play as a striker under Ten Hag and will be coached and moulded into a good striker. But I do think he'll end up being better on the wing. But you never know; he could kind of develop into a striker. But I do think long-term striker and midfielder 100% should be United's priority. Osimhen would just be brilliant, but very much out of price. And Alice and everyone have a lovely Xmas and New Year's. Yeah, big up everybody in the chat. Do have a lovely Christmas and New Year's. We will do a live stream tomorrow evening. We're doing a little Christmas special live stream tomorrow evening. I don't know if I'll be live Christmas Day. If there's like big news Christmas Day, I'll do a live stream Christmas Day. But my sort of mindset is live stream tomorrow, Christmas Eve. Do a live stream on the 26th as well, Boxing Day, and then obviously live the 27th for Nottingham Forest. I think Christmas Day will probably be a video, probably just the one video, but I will do a Christmas live stream tomorrow, people, as well. So do subscribe for that. Benicott and Bruno Fernandes would be great. Oh, they would be brilliant signings. I think it would be difficult, but Newcastle would make us pay a fortune as well. Midfield still is a massive thing, and we have Sancho who plays similar to Felix. My question and my thought process is, I think Sancho could be moulded into that kind of cam role, maybe do Bruno's role. I think he could be. And Daniel says, can't wait for Boxing Day. I can't wait for Boxing Day games. Honestly, cannot wait. I've missed the Premier League so much. Like, I am looking forward to the football on Boxing Day very much because the Premier League is back. I can't wait to the 27th. I've really missed Manchester United. You know, I think Ten Hag's maybe, you know what, I'm happy Ten Hag's maybe missed United because in the past, I'll be honest, sometimes I go, I've missed United one bit. There's periods, but where United have been so crap, I've not missed us one bit. But Ten Hag has really, really made me miss Manchester United. I will throw that out. I do love Ten Hag. You can't not love Ten Hag. I think well, some people don't actually, to be honest. But he has really, really made me miss United. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing because I didn't think I'd be sitting here saying, oh, fuck me, I miss Manchester United. Oh, I want Man United back. You know, after last season, I wouldn't have missed Man United. If the World Cup was this time last year, I'd be saying, thank fuck, I don't have to watch Man United. But it's actually nice to be in a position where I actually can't wait for football to return. Before I end the live stream, people, I want to get into my lineup for the Nottingham Forest game, what I think the lineup will be and what my lineup will be. Ten Hag said that Varane and Martinez need to be back in time for the Nottingham Forest game. And I want to actually get that up now. So if we go into the Nottingham Forest game, I want you guys to tell me how you would play. So obviously this is the lineup on my screen. Shall I just zoom out a little bit there? We'll just zoom out the one there. So we know De Gea is going to play because let's be honest, guys, the Bravka's shit. He is. I don't think Delo's fit and Wan-Bissaka played well. So Ten Hag's very much like if you play well, you keep your place. Delo isn't fit. I think Wan-Bissaka will keep his place. I think Luke Shaw will come back into Malacia. Even though Malacia had a good game, I just think Luke Shaw is going to come back in for Malacia. I don't think Martinez will play. I think it will be Lindelof and Maguire. I don't think he's going to throw Martinez and Varane in. Maybe Varane, because Martinez is still in Argentina. Varane's on the way back. Maybe Varane. But I don't think Martinez is going to play because I think it's a bit of a rush back. I think it's unlikely. I think the midfield will be, I think we will see Casemiro in midfield, which is good. And I think next to Casemiro, it will be Eriksen. And I think it will be Bruno because we know that, Ten Hag very much likes those players. I think Martial will keep his place up top. I think Anthony will start on the right. And I think Rashford will start on the left, and we've got Garnacho as a good super sub because Sancho isn't back and available. I think that is very much the lineup we will see versus Nottingham Forest. I will just zoom in so it's a little bit bigger for you people. But I think that is what I'd expect to see versus Nottingham Forest. That would be my prediction. Varane might be stick. I think he was just absolutely exhausted. In the midfield, we just need a centre mid/cam. But I want to actually look at this team and just show you the depth. This is where we lack. So we've got Garnacho as depth for Rashford, and I guess we've got Sancho as depth for Anthony, which I actually think is quite a good depth. But we don't have depth for Martial here, so I'm going to put Gakpo, Felix as a question mark because they're who we could potentially bring in January. Bruno, I guess Eriksen can play there, but he doesn't seem to play Eriksen there. So the only depth is Donny, which hasn't really done it in that position. The only depth for Eriksen is Fred. And the only depth for Casemiro is McTominay. And this is why we've got a problem. An injury to Casemiro and it's McTominay in midfield. which we know isn't good enough. Obviously, we've got good depth in defence in the sense of Malacia there, Delo there, but that's not our strongest defence. But that's our strongest midfield and attack. And the one thing that worries me is the lack of depth. You can just see there we need another midfielder and another attacker, without a doubt as well. Malacia right back for me. I think Malacia could play right back, but I think because Wan-Bissaka did well, Ten Hag might reward him, because Ten Hag's very much like, if you play well, you can keep your place. And that's why I wouldn't be completely shocked, guys, if we did see Malacia on the bench. Maybe Malacia stays left back, but I thought Luke Shaw was quite good when he came on, and Wan-Bissaka there. Potentially. Varane was knackered, but it was also recovering from a virus. Yeah, I heard that as well. He's not been particularly well. But look, guys, please do smash that like button. And of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new. I do want to get into one last story before I end the live stream here, people. And that is just news about sort of transfers and all of that as well. United have Charlton, but let me actually stop that. Let me share my screen, because I'm sharing the wrong screen here. Where are we going? We are going to this one. I want to just quickly get into some transfer news around Gakpo and all of that, and the news on Felix, that Manchester United consider loan deal for Atletico forward. It was said that United are reportedly interested in signing Joao Felix, as Erik Ten Hag is looking to replace Ronaldo. It's said that Felix's name's been mentioned before. We obviously went for Joao Felix in the summer. United are interested in Joao Felix. And Duncan Castle's again confirming that United and Arsenal in for Felix. Arsenal said to be leading the race because of the Jesus injury. But Atletico Madrid have proposed a short-term loan deal, which is 8 million plus wages covered for Joao Felix as well. So I think that would be a good deal to do. It was also said in the article that United are looking at other options like Cody Gakpo, who they probably are more so focusing on over Joao Felix. But that was a good completion of the Joao Felix news as well. And Eriksen's level dipped leading into the World Cup, being overplayed, limited depth there, unfortunately. Unfortunately, yeah, with Eriksen, I think he needs to play once a week. He needs to play just Premier League, and we need someone to play midweek. We do overplay Eriksen. And Eriksen's position is absolutely ignored at the moment. Hopefully, Iqbal can cover well. I want to see Iqbal given a go with the first team players in Eriksen's position. Maybe a Europa League game if we beat Barcelona and we get someone easy. I forgot that we got Barcelona. When have we got Barcelona? Is it February? Oh, I meant to type Manchester United in, not Manchester Evening News. Let's have a look at our fixture list quickly, actually. So we've got Nottingham Forest, then Wolves, then Bournemouth. Then we got FA Cup Everton. Then we got Charlton, City, Arsenal, Palace. Palace is always a difficult game. Leeds, Barca. Jeez, we've got Barcelona 16th and 23rd of February, people. Damn. All right, I'm going to wrap up the live stream there. So please do smash that like button. And of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new. Share the video. Thank you for everyone who watched it. And I will be back tomorrow with a video and a live stream this time tomorrow. See you next time, and bye.